let's do a little practice exercise. If you like, you can close your eyes. And we can imagine that our mind is like an ocean during a storm. Thoughts and emotions are like waves, and these waves are being churned up by the winds of agitation and stress. And if we were to dive down into these deep waters, we wouldn't see anything. It would be murky and turbulent. But if we learned to cut off the winds of agitation, to manage our stress, and these waves of emotion and thoughts would settle, and then we could dive down into the depths of our mind and see the most beautiful things, like the ocean, the coral reef, the fish. But if the mind is turbulent and murky, we see nothing. Imagine a clear, beautiful ocean-like mind. And you can open your eyes. Wasn't that nice? Are the depths of the mind clear, or are they a little bit murky? There's a wonderful mindfulness guru by the name of Chade Mentang, and he was a Google engineer, and he'd been working at Google for many years, but he had this fascination for trying to get mindfulness into the organization, and he got his lucky break. One of the other mindfulness gurus that he invited to Google to come give a talk, they couldn't show up, they missed their flight, and Chade Mentang was able to present. He took over, and everybody just absolutely loved him. And Chade Mentang was talking about something called HD resolution of mind, high definition resolution of mind, as opposed to standard definition. And he said that as we practice mindfulness, as we practice calming techniques and so on, all that stress and all that begins to settle, and we can start to see clearly, which makes us productive. Because Eric Schmidt, who's the CEO of Google, said that because of Chade Mentang's workshops, he could really see the link between productivity. In fact, he even equated a percentage, 33% increase in happiness and productivity in Google because of these programs. Isn't that remarkable? And I always carry with me, my son thinks, Dad, why do you carry around these funny little things in your briefcase? But I like to think of this as the mind in a jar. And when the mind is clear, we can see. But when it's turbulent and shaken with stress and overwhelm, it's all fuzzy and busy and glittery, as you can see, very turbulent. But it just takes a moment of pushing pause, of calming down, for everything to settle down. For the mind just to calm down and settle down just like that. Isn't that beautiful? But once again, stress comes and churns us up. And then it's up to us once again to find the space for everything just to settle down. And I love giving these to children in a school environment, because if they're having a temper tantrum and so on, we've done a bit of work with autistic children, actually giving them one of these glitter jars and trying to bring the analogy or equate that what they're going through is the same. And you know what? They transfix. They just look at the glitter and the jar, and they automatically settle down. So it's a wonderful tool that we use. You think that the pace that we move and the expectations on us to multitask are causing us more stress. And it is important for us to create boundaries, for sure. But why? Why is it important for us to create boundaries? Our children watch us as we multitask, and we send those text messages while we're driving, while we're eating, while we look at our phones all the time. We're looking at TV and multitasking. And we have a lot of broken conversations as well with our families and others, and they learn from us. They are watching us do this as we display our lack of attention. Albert Einstein said, "I'm not that smart, I just have the ability to focus more than others." And maybe focus is what makes us intelligent. By doing one thing at a time, we give our mind the chance just to settle down, like that ocean. And every time we jump to another thing, our mind becomes murky and scattered. And when we do a mind settling practice in the morning, like a mindfulness practice meditation, then we look at our calendar and we look at our emails and what we have to do, and we can make better decisions about what we can do and what boundaries that we also need to apply, so that we don't have to say yes to everything. We can make clear decisions for our days, and we can clean up our computer and make a folder for stuff to go into and close all those windows. I remember I was working on a project and I had to get it out because I was doing a weekend retreat. I didn't want to think about the project. I worked until midnight. I was stressed. I didn't take any breaks. And then I went to the retreat. My mind was clear on the retreat. I came back Monday morning and I looked at what I did and I realized it was rubbish. And within an hour, I had reworked it because my mind was clear. I wasn't pushing myself. So I guess, do you think now that the pace that we move and the expectations on us to multitask are causing us more stress? Gloria Mark from the University of California says, "Our research has shown that attention distraction can lead to higher stress, a bad mood, and lower productivity." That's true. And this was from an article that she posted in the New York Times, which is an idea based on a comprehensive study of email use, productivity, and stress. And Gloria proves that when we are distracted, she says it takes 23 minutes to fully return to that task. 23 minutes. Gloria Mark also mentioned that the average person in the study checked their emails 90 times a day, with some people on the high end of the spectrum checking their emails up to 435 times a day. The mind boggles. She says, "I argue that when people are switching context every 10.5 minutes, that they can't possibly be thinking deeply." She says there's no ways that people can achieve flow. And I remember going to a very prestigious school and speaking to the teachers about just giving the children a 3-minute settling breath break before their class. And the teacher said, "No, we don't do that. We're too busy." Too busy. The drama teacher tapped me on the shoulder and she says, "I've been doing this for years and my children are so well behaved and focused." Is it important to create boundaries, and why? Emma Russell, who's head of well-being at the Work Research Group at Kingston Business School in London, suggests that we check email in 45-minute intervals, which coincides with our natural body breaks. And she says we end up being more inefficient by keeping those interruptions switched on. Some experts like Jacqueline Whitmore, who's the etiquette expert and founder of the Protocol School of Palm Beach, argues that Russell's 45-minute email rule is actually too much. It's too frequent. She says that when you check your email too often, you become reactive and not proactive. She warns that the more email you send out, well, the more email you will receive. Makes sense. And she recommends picking certain times throughout the day to check your email. Whatever works best for you, but to keep it around 5 times per day. I know you're never going to do that, but can we reach some sort of compromise? She says if you're answering emails all day long, it will begin to dictate not only your workday, but your life. Okay, enough said. Let's move into our practice to learn to manage our minds and that desire we have to get caught up in whatever distraction is happening. Let's take back some control and develop that HD resolution of mind. Let's join me there, jump into the practice.